Hello everyone, and welcome back to the channel. It's me, Sachin, and I'm so excited to talk to you today. We're diving deep into something that's not just a buzzword anymore, but a massive movement that's reshaping our country and our planet. I'm talking about green energy biofuels and this incredible journey India is on. It feels like every single day there's a new development, a new policy, or a new partnership that's pushing us closer to a sustainable future. It's like watching your favorite team score goal after goal in the final minutes of a match. It's just that thrilling. From our farmers in Bihar seeing better prices for their crops, to our government launching groundbreaking policies for aviation fuel, the story of India's green energy revolution is being written right now, as we speak. This isn't just about big corporations or government meetings. It's about real change that affects real people, from the villages of Telangana to the bustling ports of Gujarat. It's a complex story with lots of moving parts, both successes and challenges, and that's exactly what we're going to unpack today. So grab your chai, get comfortable, and let's get into the nitty-gritty of what's happening. Welcome to today's news bulletin. Here are the top headlines in bioenergy and green fuels. We're going to break down each one, so you get the full picture of this incredible transformation. We'll look at everything from Sustainable Aviation Fuel, or SAF, which is poised to make our flights greener, to the ethanol boom that's changing the agricultural landscape. There's a lot to cover, from local protests to international collaborations, showing just how dynamic this whole sector is. Let's jump right in and see what's making waves in the world of green fuel. Uttar Pradesh to launch first-of-its-kind SAF policy. 18 companies express interest in investing in sector. First up, we're heading to Uttar Pradesh, which is making some seriously big moves. The state government is on the verge of launching a dedicated policy for sustainable aviation fuel, or SAF. Now, why is this a big deal? Well, SAF is basically a cleaner, greener version of jet fuel, made from things like used cooking oil, agricultural waste, or even algae. It's a game changer for an industry that's notoriously difficult to decarbonize. Imagine planes flying with a much smaller carbon footprint. That's the future UP is trying to build, and it's aiming to be the first state in India to have a specific policy just for this. This isn't just a plan on paper. It's already attracting major attention. A whopping 18 different companies have already shown they're keen to jump in and invest in this sector. This tells you that the industry sees huge potential here. We're talking about setting up new manufacturing plants, creating jobs, and building a whole new ecosystem around green aviation fuel. For a state as large and populous as Uttar Pradesh, this could mean a significant economic boost, all while contributing to India's larger climate goals. It's a classic win-win situation, really. Think about the ripple effect this could have. If UP successfully creates a thriving SAF industry, it sets a powerful precedent for other states to follow. It positions India as a leader in the global green aviation market. This policy isn't just about fuel, it's about vision. It's about looking at our resources, like our vast agricultural sector, and finding innovative ways to power our future. It's a bold step, and we'll be watching very closely to see how these investment plans unfold and how this policy takes shape on the ground. Indian Biogas Association signs MOU with IOCL to boost bioenergy and biohydrogen sector. Next on our list is a major collaboration that could supercharge India's bioenergy sector. The Indian Biogas Association, which is a key body representing the biogas industry, has officially teamed up with Indian Oil Corporation Limited, or IOCL, one of our country's biggest energy giants. They've signed a Memorandum of Understanding, which is basically a formal agreement to work together. Their goal is to give a massive push to the bioenergy, and very interestingly, the biohydrogen sector. This partnership is like bringing together the best of both worlds, the grassroots expertise of the Biogas Association and the massive scale and infrastructure of IOCL. So what does this actually mean? It means they will work together to promote the use of biogas and biomethane, which are produced from organic waste like agricultural residue, cattle dung, and even sewage. This is part of the government's SATAT scheme, which aims to set up 5,000 compressed biogas plants by 2025. By joining forces, they can tackle challenges more effectively, whether it's sourcing raw materials, streamlining the production process, or creating a market for the final product. And the mention of biohydrogen is particularly exciting, as hydrogen is seen as a key fuel for the future. This MOU is more than just a handshake. It's a strategic move to build a robust circular economy. Instead of waste going to landfills and creating pollution, it gets converted into valuable green fuel. This reduces our dependence on imported fossil fuels, helps in managing waste, and provides an additional source of income for our farmers who can sell their agricultural waste. It's about creating a self-sustaining cycle that benefits the environment, the economy, and the community. This collaboration between the IBA and IOCL is a critical piece of that puzzle. Maize, once sold for rupees 1,200 to 1,500, now sees sharp price surge in Bihar amid ethanol push agriculture minister. Now let's talk about the direct impact of these green policies on our farmers. We're zooming into Bihar, where a fascinating story is unfolding in the maize fields. According to the state's agriculture minister, there has been a significant surge in the price of maize, directly linked to the national push for ethanol production. Farmers who were previously getting around 1,200 to 1,500 rupees per quintal for their maize are now seeing much better returns. This is a perfect example of how high-level policy can translate into tangible benefits for people at the grassroots level. Why is this happening? India has an ambitious goal of blending 20% ethanol with petrol, what we call the E20 target. To meet this target, we need a massive amount of ethanol, and one of the key feedstocks or raw materials for producing it is maize. As the government encourages the setting up of more ethanol plants that use maize, the demand for the crop shoots up. Basic economics, right? Higher demand leads to higher prices, and that means more money in the pockets of our farmers. This is a game changer for a state like Bihar, which is a major maize producer. This development is incredibly important because it encourages crop diversification. For years, our agricultural focus has been heavily skewed towards rice and wheat. By creating a strong, stable market for maize, the ethanol program incentivizes farmers to grow different crops, which is better for soil health and reduces the strain on water resources. It also provides farmers with a more stable and lucrative income stream, reducing their dependence on the unpredictable nature of traditional crop markets. It's a powerful story of economic upliftment driven by a green initiative. SAF Boost. IATA to work with ISMA and Praj on global best practices for life cycle assessment of feedstocks use. This next headline shows that India's green energy ambitions are not happening in a vacuum. They are very much part of a global conversation. The International Air Transport Association, or IATA, which is the trade association for the world's airlines, is stepping in to collaborate with Indian players. They are partnering with the Indian Sugar Mills Association, or ISMA, and Praj Industries, a major biotech company, to work on something very specific and very important: establishing global best practices for assessing the life cycle of feedstocks used for sustainable aviation fuel. Let me break that down a bit. A life cycle assessment means looking at the entire environmental impact of a product, from cradle to grave. In this case, it means from the moment a crop like sugarcane is planted, to when it's harvested, processed into ethanol, converted into SAF, and finally used in an aircraft. To be truly sustainable, the overall carbon footprint has to be significantly lower than conventional jet fuel. IATA's involvement ensures that the methods India uses to calculate this are aligned with international standards, which is crucial for our SAF to be accepted and traded globally. This collaboration is vital for credibility. If India is to become a major SAF producer and exporter, our products need to be certified as genuinely green by international bodies. Working with IATA, ISMA, and a technology expert like Praj creates a powerful triangle of expertise. It brings together global aviation standards, local feedstock knowledge from the sugar industry, and cutting-edge bioenergy technology. This proactive step will help avoid potential roadblocks in the future and ensures that India's SAF journey starts on the right foot, with a strong foundation of transparency and scientific rigor. Industry delegation suggests government accelerated promotion and manufacturing of FFVs to boost ethanol demand. So, we've talked about increasing the supply of ethanol, but what about the demand side? You can produce all the ethanol in the world, but it's no use if our vehicles can't use it. This brings us to our next headline, where an industry delegation has made a key suggestion to the government: speed up the promotion and manufacturing of flex fuel vehicles, or FFVs. These are vehicles that can run on a variety of fuel blends, from pure petrol to higher ethanol blends like E85, which is 85% ethanol. The logic here is pretty straightforward. Right now, most vehicles in India can comfortably run on E10, which is 10% ethanol, and newer ones are compatible with E20. But to really absorb the massive amounts of ethanol we plan to produce, we need vehicles that can handle even higher blends. The industry is essentially telling the government, let's work together to create a market for this fuel. This involves not just encouraging car manufacturers to produce more FFVs, but also raising public awareness about their benefits, like lower running costs and reduced emissions. This is a classic chicken and egg situation. Do you build the cars first, or make the fuel widely available first? The industry's suggestion is to do both, simultaneously and aggressively. This could involve government incentives for buying FFVs, mandates for manufacturers, and a clear roadmap for expanding the availability of higher blend ethanol at fuel stations across the country. A successful push for FFVs is absolutely critical to ensuring that the investment being made in ethanol production pays off, and that the entire value chain, from the farm to the fuel tank, functions smoothly. Mild tension in Telangana's Gadwal, as villagers protest against an ethanol plant. Our journey into India's green revolution isn't just about successes and big partnerships. It's also about the challenges and complexities on the ground. This headline from Telangana paints a more complicated picture. In the Gadwal district, there have been protests by local villagers against the construction of a new ethanol plant. This highlights a crucial aspect of any large-scale industrial project, the need for community acceptance and addressing local concerns. While these plants are key to our national green energy goals, they can also become a source of conflict if not handled sensitively. The villagers' protests often stem from legitimate worries. These can include concerns about water usage, as ethanol production can be water-intensive, which is a major issue in many parts of India. There are also fears about potential pollution, air pollution from the plant's emissions or water pollution from its effluents, which could affect local agriculture and drinking water sources. Sometimes there are also disputes over land acquisition. These are not trivial issues. They affect the daily lives and livelihoods of the people living near these facilities. This situation in Gadwal serves as a powerful reminder that sustainable development must be inclusive. It's not enough for a project to be environmentally friendly on a macro-national level. It must also be sustainable and acceptable at the local level. This requires transparent communication with the community, thorough environmental impact assessments, and robust safeguards to prevent pollution. It shows that the path to a green future requires careful navigation, balancing industrial growth with the well-being of local communities. It's a story we see repeated, and one we will come back to later in our bulletin. Let's take a quick detour from India to see what's happening in another biofuel powerhouse, Brazil. This story is fascinating because it showcases the incredible innovation happening around the ethanol industry. A Finnish food tech company called Enifer is teaming up with a Brazilian ethanol producer, UISA, to do something remarkable. They plan to use the byproducts from the ethanol production process to create mycoprotein. Mycoprotein is basically a protein-rich food ingredient made from fungi, and it's used to make meat substitutes. This is a brilliant example of a circular economy in action, taken to the next level. Traditionally, the waste stream or byproducts from making ethanol, from sugarcane in Brazil's case, are used to generate power or as animal feed. But this partnership is turning that waste into a high-value food product for human consumption. It's like finding a hidden treasure in something that was previously considered low value. This not only makes the ethanol production process more profitable, but also incredibly sustainable. Why is this relevant to India? Because it shows us the future possibilities. As India ramps up its own ethanol production, we will also generate massive amounts of byproducts like DDGs or distillers' dried grains with solubles from maize and grain-based distilleries. This Brazil-Finland collaboration is a proof of concept that we can innovate beyond just using this byproduct for animal feed. We could potentially create a whole new industry around high-value products like proteins, pharmaceuticals, or other biochemicals, making our biorefineries even more integrated and profitable. It's a glimpse into the future of biomanufacturing. This headline might sound familiar, and that's because it's a follow-up, a deeper dive into the collaboration we touched upon earlier. It re-emphasizes the strategic importance of this partnership. Praj Industries, a global leader in biofuel technology, the International Air Transport Association, or IATA, and the Indian Sugar Mills Association, ISMA, are not just talking. They are actively joining forces. Their mission is to create a robust framework for assessing the carbon footprint of sustainable aviation fuel, and crucially, getting it certified right here in India. This is about building domestic capacity. Instead of relying solely on international bodies for every step of the certification process, this collaboration aims to develop the expertise and processes within India. This will make the process faster, more efficient, and more tailored to the Indian context, especially concerning our unique feedstocks like sugarcane juice, B-heavy molasses, and C-heavy molasses. Praj brings the tech know-how, ISMA brings the deep knowledge of the sugarcane value chain, and IATA provides the global aviation industry's perspective and standards. Think of this as building the entire quality control and certification infrastructure for India's future SAF industry from the ground up. Having a credible, internationally recognized, and domestically managed certification process is a massive competitive advantage. It will instill confidence in airlines, both domestic and international, to offtake SAF produced in India. It ensures that when we say our fuel is sustainable, it's backed by a transparent, rigorous, and globally accepted methodology. This is a foundational step that will unlock the full potential of SAF manufacturing in the country. We return now to the story from Telangana, and unfortunately, the situation has escalated. This headline reports that 12 people were arrested following a violent protest at the site of the ethanol plant in Gadwal district. This is a serious development that underscores the deep-seated nature of the conflict between the project developers and a section of the local community. When protests turn from peaceful demonstrations to violence, it signals a significant breakdown in communication and trust. The reports suggest that the protests intensified, leading to clashes and property damage, which prompted police action and the arrests. This is the unfortunate reality that can occur when local fears and anxieties are not adequately addressed. For the protesters, their actions might be born out of a sense of desperation, a feeling that their voices are not being heard through conventional channels. For the authorities and the company, it becomes a law and order situation, but the underlying issues of environmental concerns and community welfare remain. This incident serves as a critical case study for the entire bioenergy industry in India. It's a stark warning that social license to operate is just as important as regulatory clearances. It highlights the urgent need for more effective public consultation mechanisms, where companies and government agencies genuinely engage with communities, listen to their concerns, and work collaboratively to find solutions. The success of India's green energy revolution will depend not just on technology and investment, but on our ability to manage these social dynamics and ensure that development is truly for everyone. Paraguay is set to build a $150 million biofuel plant with India's Praj Industries. From domestic challenges, we now turn to a story of India's growing international influence in the green energy space. This is a big one. Paraguay is set to build a massive $150 million biofuel plant, and they've chosen India's own Praj Industries as their technology partner. This is a huge vote of confidence in Indian technology and expertise on the global stage. It shows that our companies are not just catering to the domestic market, but are becoming world leaders in the biorefinery sector. The project in Paraguay will be a state-of-the-art facility, likely focused on producing ethanol from maize, a crop that is abundant in the South American nation. For Praj Industries, this is a significant overseas contract that showcases their technological prowess in designing and building advanced biofuel plants. For India, it's a moment of pride and a fantastic example of Make in India, exporting its knowledge and innovation to the world. It strengthens diplomatic and economic ties between India and Paraguay. This deal also highlights a broader trend. As more and more countries look to decarbonize their economies and reduce reliance on fossil fuels, they are seeking experienced partners to help them build their own biofuel industries. Indian companies, having navigated the complexities of a diverse and large market like ours, are uniquely positioned to offer these solutions. This project in Paraguay could be the first of many such international collaborations, establishing India as a go-to hub for bioenergy technology and project execution. Circling back to Uttar Pradesh, this headline reinforces the state's ambition that we discussed at the beginning. It's not just about having the first policy, it's about a much larger vision. The government of Uttar Pradesh has explicitly stated its goal to become the #1, the leading hub for sustainable aviation fuel manufacturing in the entire country. This is a statement of intent, signaling that they are ready to go all in to attract investment and build the necessary ecosystem. To achieve this goal, the state is likely to offer a package of incentives. This could include things like subsidies on capital investment, tax breaks, simplified land acquisition processes, and assurances of feedstock supply from its massive agricultural base. By declaring itself as the future SAF capital, UP is sending a clear signal to global investors and technology providers. We are open for business, and we are serious about this. It creates a competitive environment where the state is actively working to be the most attractive destination for this new industry. The implications are massive. Becoming a leading SAF hub would transform the state's industrial landscape. It would create thousands of high-skilled jobs, spur innovation in agricultural practices, and put up on the global map for green technology. It would also play a pivotal role in helping India meet its national SAF blending targets. This ambition, backed by the policy we mentioned earlier, sets the stage for a dramatic transformation in the state's economy and its contribution to India's climate action goals. Now for a story about international trade dynamics. A group of U.S. lawmakers is putting pressure on the United States Trade Representative, or USTR, to push for better market access for American ethanol and its byproduct DDGS in India. Essentially, the U.S., which is the world's largest ethanol producer, sees India's growing demand as a huge market opportunity, and they want a bigger piece of the pie. This brings a trade and diplomacy angle to our green energy story. Currently, India has high tariffs or import taxes on ethanol, which are designed to protect and promote our domestic industry. The U.S. lawmakers are arguing for these tariffs to be lowered, which would make American ethanol cheaper and more competitive in the Indian market. They are making a similar case for DDGs, the high-protein animal feed that's left over after ethanol production. This request puts the Indian government in a tricky position, as it has to balance its Atmanirbhar Bharat, or self-reliant India goals, with its trade relationships with countries like the U.S. This is a classic trade negotiation scenario. While India is focused on building its own production capacity, using domestic feedstocks like sugarcane and maize to benefit our farmers, the U.S. is looking for new export markets for its own massive corn-based ethanol industry. How our government responds to this pressure will be very interesting to watch. It's a delicate balancing act between supporting domestic producers, meeting our ambitious E20 blending targets, and maintaining good international trade relations. This issue will likely be a key point of discussion in future India-US trade talks. Here's another story that, directly connects the ethanol program with agricultural reform. The Punjab government has announced a plan to encourage farmers to diversify about 12,000 hectares of land away from growing paddy, or rice, and towards growing maize instead. This is a hugely significant move for a state like Punjab, known as the Grain Bowl of India, where the rice-wheat cycle has, honestly, dominated agriculture for decades. This is being driven, in large part, by the rising demand for maize from the ethanol industry. So why is this diversification so important for Punjab? Well, the traditional paddy-wheat cycle is incredibly water-intensive and has led to a drastic depletion of the groundwater table in the state. It has also contributed to soil degradation and the problem of stubble burning, which causes severe air pollution every winter. Maize, on the other hand, requires significantly less water and has a shorter crop cycle. By promoting maize, the government is not just supporting the biofuel program, but also tackling a severe environmental crisis. This plan shows how the ethanol policy can be a powerful tool for positive agricultural change. The government is likely to support this shift with incentives like providing high-quality seeds, ensuring a minimum support price for maize, and creating procurement infrastructure linked to nearby ethanol plants. If successful, this pilot of 12,000 hectares could be expanded, leading to a more sustainable and resilient agricultural system in Punjab. It's about using a market-based solution, the demand for ethanol, to solve a long-standing ecological problem. This headline gives us more specific details on the Paraguay story we introduced earlier. It names the local partner. Praj Industries will be collaborating with a company called Enosaur SA on this major biorefinery project. This confirms that the project is a joint venture, combining Praj's world-class technology with Enosaur's local presence and expertise in Paraguay. This kind of partnership model is often key to the success of large international projects. The collaboration will focus on building a state-of-the-art corn-to-ethanol plant. Praj will likely provide its end-to-end solutions, which include design, engineering, technology, and equipment for the plant. Enosaur SA will likely handle the on-ground execution, navigating local regulations, managing the supply chain for maize, and overseeing the construction. This synergy allows both companies to play to their strengths, minimizing risks, and maximizing the chances of a successful and efficient project launch. This deal further solidifies Praj's reputation as a global player in the bioeconomy. It's not just selling equipment, it's providing comprehensive solutions and entering into deep collaborations. For India, it's a powerful demonstration of our private sector's ability to compete and win on the world stage. Each such project becomes a showcase of Indian engineering and technological capabilities, opening doors for more opportunities in Latin America and other regions that are looking to embrace biofuels. It's a proud moment for the Indian biotech and engineering sectors. While India races ahead, Nepal's ethanol plan has been stuck in limbo for over 20 years. This headline really provides a stark and interesting contrast to India's rapid progress. It highlights that our neighbor, Nepal, has had an ethanol blending plan on the books for over 2 decades, but it's, just remained stuck in limbo, unable to take off. This comparison really puts India's achievements into perspective and honestly underscores the complexity of implementing such a large-scale national program. It's not just about having a policy, it's about the political will, industrial capacity, and regulatory framework to actually execute it. The story from Nepal points to several potential reasons for the delay, which could include a lack of sufficient feedstock, inadequate investment in production facilities, and a lack of a clear roadmap and incentives from the government. The sugar industry in Nepal, which could have been a potential source for ethanol, has also faced its own set of challenges. This whole situation serves as a bit of a cautionary tale. Good intentions and policies are just not enough. A successful ethanol program requires a concerted effort from the government, private industry, and the agricultural sector, all working in sync. By looking at Nepal's struggles, we can better appreciate the series of deliberate actions India has taken to make its ethanol program a success. This includes setting clear blending targets, providing financial incentives for setting up distilleries, fixing remunerative prices for ethanol from different feedstocks, and creating a supportive ecosystem for both producers and buyers. India's story is really one of a determined, multi-pronged approach that has managed to overcome hurdles that have stalled similar programs in other countries. It shows that our green race is not just a sprint, but a well-planned marathon. New Malagar Refinery plans a sustainable aviation fuel plant in Odisha. The momentum for sustainable aviation fuel in India just keeps growing. Here's another major development. New Malagar Refinery Limited, or NRL, a public sector oil and gas company, is planning to set up an SAF plant, and this one will be in the state of Odisha. This is significant because it shows that it's not just one state like UP that's getting into the SAF game. The interest is spreading, and major public sector undertakings are now entering the fray. NRL's plan involves using bamboo as a feedstock to produce ethanol, which would then be converted into SAF. This is particularly innovative because bamboo is a fast-growing non-food crop that can be cultivated on marginal lands, so it doesn't compete with food production. This really aligns perfectly with the principles of sustainability. A project like this in Odisha could create a whole new rural economy around bamboo cultivation, providing livelihoods for local communities and tribes. It's a fantastic example of using regional resources for advanced green technology. This announcement from a major refinery like NRL adds serious weight to India's SAF ambitions. When established players in the conventional fuel industry start investing heavily in green alternatives, a real shift is underway. It signals that SAF is moving from a niche concept to a mainstream part of the energy transition strategy. With UP focusing on agricultural waste and NRL in Odisha looking at bamboo, we're seeing the emergence of a diverse, region-specific feedstock strategy for SAF, which is a very smart and resilient approach for a country as diverse as India. Dindale Port Authority hosts green hydrogen training. Our final headline for today takes us to the coast of Gujarat, to the Dindale Port in Kandla. The Port Authority there recently hosted a training program focused on green hydrogen. This might seem, slightly different from ethanol and SAF, but it's a crucial part of the same larger story of India's green energy transition. Green hydrogen, produced using renewable energy, is considered one of the cleanest fuels of the future, and our ports are going to be critical hubs for its production, storage, and transport. By organizing this training program, the Dindale Port Authority is being incredibly proactive. They are building the skills and knowledge base of their workforce to prepare for the coming hydrogen economy. This training would have covered topics like the safe handling of hydrogen, the infrastructure required for bunkering or fueling ships with green ammonia or hydrogen, and the role the port can play in the national green hydrogen mission. It's about getting ready today for the challenges and opportunities of tomorrow. This initiative is a clear sign that India's green energy strategy is comprehensive. It's not just about road transport or aviation, it's also about decarbonizing the maritime sector, which is another major source of emissions. Ports like Dindale are positioning themselves to be the green energy gateways of the future, facilitating the export of green hydrogen and its derivatives, and potentially offering green bunkering services to ships from around the world. It's a forward-thinking move that integrates our maritime infrastructure into our national climate goals. And that brings us to the end of our deep dive today. What an incredible journey, right? From the fields of Punjab and Bihar to the boardrooms of international aviation bodies, and from the local protests in Telangana to new partnerships in Paraguay. The story of India's bioenergy and green fuel revolution is so multifaceted. It's a story of ambition, innovation, and economic opportunity. We're seeing a fundamental shift in our energy landscape, driven by a clear vision to create a sustainable and self-reliant future for our country. Of course, as we've seen, the path isn't always smooth. There are challenges to navigate, from trade pressures and international competition to the critical need for community engagement and ensuring that the benefits of this transition are shared by everyone. The protests in Telangana are a sober reminder that progress must be inclusive. But the sheer momentum is undeniable. The combined efforts of our government, our private sector innovators like Praj, our public sector giants like IOCL and NRL, and most importantly, our farmers, are pushing India into a leadership position on the global green stage. The headlines we discussed today are not just isolated news items. They are interconnected chapters in a larger narrative of transformation. It's a narrative that I am personally so excited to follow, and I hope you are too. The decisions made today regarding ethanol, SAF, and hydrogen will shape the India of tomorrow. Let's keep the conversation going in the comments below. What part of this story excites you the most? What challenges do you think are the most critical to solve? I'd love to hear your thoughts. That's all for today's bioenergy and green fuel headlines. Thank you for watching. Stay tuned for more updates.